All right. Oh, how is everybody doing today? Like, just how? How's everybody doing? Oh, what a year. What a year. Oh yeah. A year. Boy, I tell you. Yeah, I got some adjusting to do. I'm gonna set up here. Bear with me. All right. Good turnout. Early turnout. Everybody's everybody's on point. Uno momento. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Today, yesterday, whatever day it is. I can't get that to be bigger. Great. Okay. I should probably see if I can. So I got a new setup, and it's been kicking my ass for like the last day. So I apologize for this little brief interruption here. But I promise you, I'm almost done. Not everything is going to be working flawlessly today, but the stream will be fine. The stream will be fine. I think I'm gaining my senses here. Okay. I'm going to do thing. Yeah, that's not going to work. I tell you, one thing after another, folks. Okay. Anyways, and my scroll on my mouse. Okay, tech support guys, if you're out there, if you could figure out how to reverse my scroll on my mouse on a Mac, let me know. I'll PayPal you support money. But Sean, isn't it just the natural scroll thing in the settings? Yeah, it is, but it doesn't work. And I can't figure out how in the life to try. It's like my life story over here. I cannot figure out for the life of me how to fix it. So every time I scroll, to me, it's backwards. I can't stand it. Anyways, first world problems. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? See Mcatron? Where am I here? I don't even know if I'm starting at the top. Am I starting at the top? I should be starting at the top. Shambot, version 42. Ryan West, good morning. Laramie Wall. Yeah, you are here before me. Congratulations. Harrigan, top notch. Wayne, overperformers. Good to see you. Hoos, up in the darkness. Victor, Joe, morning. Jim, morning. Have coffee. Everybody's got coffee fueled up. Joe, drinking coffee. Submitting BS or con events. That's nice. I don't even know where we are. That like, as far as like events and people, I gotta probably find that out. Gabe, good to see you, buddy. French press, nice. Sounds French. Yeah, it's my hair is not on point today. What's up, Jeff? Did I see Jeff? I did. scrolled right by him. What's up, Jeff? Morning, man. Glad you could make it. Laramie's inquiring, Jeff, how you like CNC. Orcus Dorcas, good to see you. Who owes money to Laramie? Me? Maybe. Hi, Orcus. Go buy a PC. Great. You guys are real help. You guys, no. Great. Well, what can you expect from PC users when you ask them a Mac question? I don't know what to do. Their default, don't ask me, I'm PC guy. Anyways, hey, if you like what you're listening to, smash the like button, if you will. Oh, man. No, you did not. Turn the mouse upside down. That might be one method. What's up, Chris? So personal life's been quite in turmoil, if you haven't gathered as much. I look like dog shit. My hair is off fleek. It's off fleek. I know on fleek is good. I gotta imagine off fleek is bad. Yeah. I think the state of the union can always be told by my hairstyle. Maybe. I don't know. It's just been chaotic. Some of you probably realize, like, this past week I opened event registration like a day early for BSRCon. I got up in the morning, and I'm like, I want to get this email out 24 hours ahead of time, right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I get this email out, remind everybody, event registration opens. And as I'm typing it up, I'm like, it's going to be opening in 4 hours, so I really got to get this email out. I send it out an hour later, and I'm like, wait a minute. This shit isn't until tomorrow. Why did I put in the 4 hours piece? And then I don't know if tabletop events allows you to reverse it. Like, you can close event registration, but it says it can't be undone. And I'm like, fantastic. So I'm just going to leave it open. So for those that are like, hey, man, you said it was going to open at noon Central Time on this day for badge reg, and this day for event submission, and this day for event registration, and every day has been a fiasco. To you, I say, oops, sorry. It's so crazy. Like, I don't know. I picked those dates out literally almost a year. Literally a year out. I'm like, okay, if the event is on January 19th, let's see, previous year I did event badge submission or badge registration 2 months, 3 months before that. Then a month later is event submission and then event sign up, blah, blah, blah. I got it all down. And then, of course, like two, three major things that I'm having to deal with fall exactly on those times. Not only those times, those days, and right exactly at those times. I'm like, and they're not like, hey, timeout, doc. I don't want to go in because it's the only opening you have for the next 6 months because I got to open this event registration online. So not an excuse, not anything, just some insight to what's going on. So that's why it's been a complete and utter fiasco. And, you know, I know if I sign up for GameholeCon, they got to be on point. Or else I'm going to just get ticked off, like, because I want to get in that game. And I can't get in that game if I'm setting my clock a day later and then Sean opens up the event registration a day early. Now, I know some of you guys are very like, dude, it's no big deal. Seriously, it's not open heart surgery. But still, I sit up here and rant about how sometimes the gaming profession or industry can be a little short of expectations, and then I go ahead and do it myself. So it's a standard that's not, you know, the hypocrisy is not lost on me. So anyways, Hope to talk about some good gaming stuff today. Oh man. Keep letting me updated, Jeff. He's gonna want to know how CNC is going. So I'll start off with that since we're kind of talking it. Jeff's in the chat, and I don't know how much he's gonna be typing away. But so Castles and Crusades, we kicked off session 0. I crowdsourced some ideas. Thank you to Gabe and Jim and Harrigan for some ideas amongst some of you other folks about what character to play, race, class, whatever. So I originally sat down with Jeff and the gang, and I made an illusionist dwarf. His name was going to be Doug Henning. So I made him up. Yeah, I got an idea of kind of the dynamics of the racial traits and the class characteristics. And then Jeff was like, Sean, you should play Paladin. You should play Paladin. I'm like, I don't want to play Paladin, Jeff. You should play Paladin. And I said, okay, I'll create a Paladin. So I created a Halfling Paladin. That's I might be playing that guy. Because the party is made up of I think Vic, Jeff, you might have to help me out, but I think Vic is playing like a half-elf rogue, if I'm not mistaken. Andy's playing a gnome illusionist, so we would have 2 illusionists in the party. Brady is his name is not Cody, it's Brady. That's one thing. Brady is playing a magic user or wizard, I think. Definitely a caster, so I think it's a wizard. And then Jeff might be playing fighter. He's the last guy I knew what he was playing. He's sitting right next to me. So Jeff is maybe playing a fighter. I don't know if you've settled on that, Jeff. So that's the party dynamic. And then my buddy Joe, who's running, is going to set it in Galarian, give us a bunch of gear, cart, beast of burden, be a caravan runners, I guess. Wanting to get out of the city for whatever reason. We've had enough of city life, apparently. What city? TBD. I don't know if it really matters. Sometimes it's interesting. You want to play a little older school, right? And older school mantra might be like, you don't have all that stuff set. It doesn't matter. You're in the middle of nowhere. Let's go, right? And Castle Amber, go. Pharaoh, Amun-Re, Mirage shows up, and anyways. And then those things come out and play. Whatever, however you position your campaign. So we'll see. It's going to be maybe a once-a-month game, I think, and there's some scheduling issues that are preventing us from nailing down the next session. My buddy Joe's got a job that might be changing his shift, so that'll impact kind of what we're doing. So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited. I just hope that the gaps between sessions don't fizzle that excitement. It's hard to keep up the enthusiasm when you've got those big gaps, and even to keep track of everything. So that is the deal for Castles and Crusades. So according to the book and the details, Jeff says Elf Rogue. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Vic's playing Elf Rogue. So according to the details of the book, Laramie could correct me because he's a resident CNC guy. It sounds like my paladin can be pretty sneaky. And I'm trying to find, now I know this could be, Jeff's going to play human fighter. So I think it's going to come down to probably some Game Master stuff. Thanks, Who's got your message. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought, obviously. Oh, sneaky halflings. Sneaky. So I'm trying to look through the book like, well, if I'm wearing plate mail armor and I'm sneaky, like, what's the penalty? And I don't know if it's explicit. Like, it wasn't very blatantly obvious to me. Now, as a game master, you could say, dude, I'm not having you be sneaky and get away with that crap without a major penalty because you're in plate armor, which I get. So I couldn't find a rule. And we went around, like, we debated, like, the spell casting rules because we were trying to figure, like, like, how do these work? And how it's the rest piece. So we were debating that and how long it takes to recoup, and you don't have to fill all the slots. So it was a good conversation. I find myself being that guy as a player at the table. I'm that guy. And part of me thinks, like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. I'm like, well, that's fine how we're going to do it, but what does the book say? What does the rules say? So I'm going to probably end up being that guy. So I'm expecting Jeff and Joe to tell me to shut the hell up, or Brady may tell me to shut the hell up. Vic won't. She's too nice. Galarian, just because you are familiar. So Joe's picking the campaign setting. He has run Pathfinder in the past. I'll tell you this. I gave him, like, I don't know, a $50 gift card for his birthday one year. And he went out to Noble Knight and bought, like, 2 Pathfinder scenarios. No, it wasn't all $50, but I don't know if it was the campaign arc. And I said this in a stream that he likes those the campaign arcs that they put out, but I don't know if he bought the whole thing. Like, I think he might have bought 2, or maybe, they do the Pathfinder series of 6, and then there's some that are just onesie twosie modules. So I don't know what he's running, but I think he's going to be using one of those modules he bought as a kind of a cornerstone, or guide. He may go off the rails and not run it verbatim, but dude, I don't know. We used to play a lot of Pathfinder after as 4th edition came into play. We ran a ton of it, played some of the APs, ran in different continents. I mean, that was with, a few different groups. Like, it wasn't just with Jeff and the gang. And so we're familiar with, like, many of the analogs, but I'll have to say at least I was familiar. Now I'm like, I know there's the Gothic horror country. I think there's the Victorian era country. There's the, all of undead and goblins country. Like, there's the Middle Eastern analog, Persian analog country. I don't know. So I used to have the campaign guide. That's been gone. Like, I tossed that a while ago. So I don't know why you just picked that one. He's got 2 modules he wants to use. See, and I can't even scroll because my stupid scroll wheel's backwards. God damn it. Dwarven illusion is for the win. So, Phil, on that comment, I'm missing a bunch of comments. Shoot. Tad, good morning. If I miss you guys, I apologize. Okay, I see you guys. Oh, Chris, yeah, you're a one-man shop. No, and frankly, so Chris says, you're a one-man shop doing this in part for charity. I can't understand people who just want to be angry about folks who make a mistake. I prefer folks who have a little empathy, and I appreciate that. Still, I mean, nobody, and to be upfront, nobody's come to me and complained. Like, nobody's like, what the hell, WTF, I didn't get my event. This is run like a fiasco. Like, I have not received that feedback, so I'm putting more pressure on myself than anybody else, probably. So just fair to put that out, Chris. Yeah, thanks, Laramie. Yeah, Harrigan. So, anyways, Mouse, natural scrolling, flip the switch. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's what's pissing me off, Orcus Dorcas. It doesn't work. And then you will come across an article that says, oh, you have to delete this plist file. You go into your library in your directory, which is a hidden folder, and then you go into your preferences under the hidden library folder under your home directory, and then you look for Apple, I think it's com.apple.xxx, and the xxx is either mouse or trackpad.plist, and you delete it. I don't even have one, so maybe that's the issue, but I thought it would be system generated. That's not working. I've rebooted. It's driving me absolutely bonkers. Now, I do have another Mac that's like I've cloned over, so I may just try to find that file in the other one and maybe drop it. I don't know if that'll do the trick. Whatever, I don't know. It's I'm using a Logitech. These guys are troubleshooting my shit, so they're trying to earn a couple bucks. No, actually, they're probably just trying to help me out. I have the Logitech MX 3, MX Master 3. I also checked the software in Logitech, and it's Bluetooth. Like, I got it hooked up Bluetooth. It's not on a dongle. It's not using the USB receiver. So I've checked the mouse. The software just goes like, what do you want this button to do? What do you want this button to do? What do you want this button to do? And none of those options, as far as I know, unless I completely looked it over 3 times, determines which way the scroll goes. I have not, but I can try. Wayne has helped me troubleshoot my shit. Anyways, I will try it. I will try unpairing it and repairing it and see if that does anything. But right now, it is like I've redone the operating system. It's, and done a migration. I thought the migration would take care of it. Like, out of the box, it did not. It drove me nuts. Anyways, I'm going to figure it out if it's the last thing I do, because it is really effing my brain up. Like, I'm scrolling, and all my stuff's, I'm like, oh, it's at the bottom of the page? No, it's just the way I'm scrolling. Anyways. Oh, okay, interesting. I'll check that link out. Thanks, Wayne. Anyways, I apologize, guys, but it's like, it has to do with the chat, because I can't scroll. Anyway. Let's see. Mouse, no. Natural scrolling's not working, Victor. I wish it was that. It's also why I give you shit when you do it, Sean. Curiosity, not judgment. Fair enough. William Thorpe, good to see you. Dwarven Illusionist for the win. I'm up to Phil so far. So, yes. And I was thinking, Dwarf Illusionist, right? Like, they're not even close to each other. Like, recommended classes for Dwarf. No Illusionist listed. And I was going to have him, like, have no beard. And that he was too weak. Like, we rolled up 3d6, 6 stats in any order. So, I mean, the top, I think I got 116 and the rest are like 12s and 8s. So I was going to make him, because he's illusionist, I was just going to dump status strength and just say, because he's a dwarf that's weak and he can't grow a beard, he's not about making under mountain or under the mountain great again. So he's left the clan. It said, screw this. I'm not mining and doing all this bullshit. Maybe very adverse to labor intensive work. And he just became like a book smart guy and started doing illusionist moves. That would have been his like his backstory, if you will. So that's how he's going to do it, Phil. So yeah. Two illusionists. Yeah, I know, right? And I was picking like nothing I could do offensively, really. Like I was gonna go sheer manipulate, like sheer Doctor Strange, just manipulating things in front of people, like manipulating their minds. So all the charm, all the persuade stuff, all the illusion pieces. That's the angle I was gonna go on. And I say that because sometimes when you build a character, you're like, oh, fighter. Well, you got to have power attack. Then you got to have cleave. Then you got to have great cleave. Like it's mapped out for you. If you want to optimize your fighter to be effective in combat, if you will. So as an illusionist, I wasn't going to go against type necessarily, but it was going to be straight like a particular path, if you will. Doesn't setting it in Galarian Rabbit as some of the old school feel? Greyhawk, baby. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Plate mail negates silent moves, man. See, there's Jeff already put me in check. At this point, Galarian is so old, it's old school. It's been around a while. Illusionary plate armor is really quiet. Well, if I could get it casted on me. Like, we're talking two different characters, right? Yeah, Jeff's always getting put in check by Vic. Somebody needs to. I can't be the only guy. Well, not everything's skipped forward, damn it. Here we go. CNC strikes me as a more manageable version of Pathfinder. I would agree with that, Gabe. Just from the, like, it is. I would go as far, and Jeff, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I would go, and Laramie could too. I would go as far to say that it is really kind of the pre-3.0 kind of game. So if you're not familiar with Castles and CNC, Castles and Crusades by Troll Lord Games, you can actually go and get the Player's Handbook absolutely free in PDF. Like, it's been out there. It's the Siege engine. It comes with different covers, I think, and that's what you pay for if you want to pay for it. But it's like a free game, you know. And the rules have been free for a long time. Not in an SRD format. Just here is the Player's Handbook. Go. It's very much a between the 2E and 3E as far as like standard array, strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. Modifier corresponding. I can't remember the breakdown of the modifiers. I think it's the same. Like, what is it? 9 to 11 is 0, 12 to 14, 12 to 13 plus 1. Like, in some systems, it's like every even number, it's up a plus 1. Not classes race. So they have the standard races. Dwarf, half-orc, elf, half-elf, gnome, halfling. I think that's it. And then you do pick a class, and then those classes do get inherent, like, things at certain levels. So every 4th level, you'll get something that's inherent to rogue. So the classes are wizard, rogue, illusionist, assassin, fighter, paladin, cavalier, cleric, druid, probably missing 1 or 2 in there somewhere. You guys are probably yelling, and probably putting in the chat. And then typical kind of mostly Vancian magic. So if you don't like Vancian magic and resting and having to recoup your spells and things of that nature, it's not mana points or anything like that. I mean, it is a D&D Gary Gygax derivative. There's no feats. There's no saves. Well, let me correct that. There's no dedicated saves. The saves are tied to the attributes. So if you're going to save versus paralysis, I think it is a wisdom check, right? So that's the only thing, and they're not written out. So you kind of have to know, like, and if it's a primary attribute, your DC is 18, and if it's a secondary attribute, your DC is 12. And of course, that can be modified up or down depending on the situation. So if you pick your primary attribute like willy-nilly. It's not like, oh, your fighter, your primary attribute is strength. No. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So what you could do is have a really crappy ability score that gives you, say, a -1 on your mod roll, or on your roll, on your D20. It's a D20 based. And you could pick like your dump stat, where maybe you get a -1 modifier, but you could pick that as your primary and lower the DC to 12. Right? So 46 events, 4 cancellations, so standing at 42. Thanks, Harrigan. Laramie gives me the ruling on Sneaky. Sneaky isn't a class ability for Paladin. You do get a bonus for Halfling. True, but since it's not a class ability, you don't get to add level. Oh, that's a good point. And it's very much that, too. I should also stipulate. Like, it's many things are D20 roll, modifier, level. And then anything else that might attribute to it. Special character, race feat, race, power, what have you. I would also give you a minus AC to your roll. So at best, it would be D20 plus attribute bonus plus halfling AC bonus. Never getting level added again, just by personal ruling. Submitted to the game for room on Friday, Saturday the 4th. Scheduling is tough. Yeah. Saturday's pretty heavy for sure. Saturday night, I think, is pretty heavy. Not a lot of Fridays. I think a lot of people are like, it's an online game. I don't want to take off a day of work. I can just I'll work my day and then I'll hit Friday night and Saturday, which I get. Yes, possible hardware problem with the mouse. Who knows? No, I don't think it's the mouse. The mouse worked. It's this operating system for sure, Shambot. What kind of mouse do you have? MX3, already mentioned. Okay. You guys are working on it. Thank you. Orcus Dorcas says he sticks to his ruling. Get rid of the Mac. Human, you knob. Bill, hey, good to see you. Still scrolling through everything. I apologize. Because as I scroll, I go the wrong way. God damn it. Side note, for 3D6 gamers, I recommend the Hackmaster Shopkeeper rule. Go on, Laramie. Explain it. Shopkeeper rule. If your character has no raw single stat of at least 13 or 2 raw stats of 5 or less, you may name your character. And then turn your sheet into the GM for use as a shopkeeper, peasant, or other hapless NPC and re-roll your character. Interesting. I would say CNC is D20 Pathfinder without skills or feats. Yes, boom, done. Oh, and the classes aren't balanced, so they still level at different XP rates. That's a good point, too. Yes. Bill Payne, I work with PCs at work, Mac at home, each scrolls opposite. Unfortunately, my brain just adjusts to work home settings. It helps that my home mouse and work mouse are very different. Yeah, well, and that's true, Bill, but you can change it in the Mac settings. There is a toggle. That's what everybody's yelling at me earlier. Just hit the button. And I'm like, it doesn't work. Yes, sir, it seems like AD&D with D20 mechanics worked in, and the Siege engine is pretty slick. That's Jeff's a fan. Assassin, Barbarian, Bard. I forgot the Bard. Fighter, Illusionist, Knight. Oops, not Knight, Cavalier. Not Cavalier, Knight, sorry. Monk. I was also considering a Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Wizard. There you go. No Acrobat or Cavalier. Cavalier, so the Knight is very Cavalier, Jim. It really is. Like, you got to pick a code. There's a shit ton listed. Yeah. It's just the name in this book. So you're dead on. There is. The Knight is essentially the Cavalier class. You have set, but we do have primary class set. I didn't know. I didn't really. Maybe I'm screwing mine up, Jeff. Oh, you have. Oh, you picked. That's true, right? You get 3 if you are human. You only get 2 if you are not. So you do have set primary class. I got that wrong. See, never trust a streamer to know anything about a game. There he goes. Laramie says paralyzed is a strength save. If you all aren't there, there is a nice rough guideline table in the CK part of the PHB. News printing, it's page 211. Totally not a Cavalier. push down on the second scroll wheel, does it fix it? Push down on the second scroll wheel? No, because I have it. No, it does not, Joe. If I push on the second scroll wheel, which one is that? The side one? No, that's not the second scroll wheel. Let me see this one. Hold on. Nope. Dude, it's not working. Yeah, where is second? What is the second scroll wheel? Like pushing down on the primary wheel only makes it smooth or iterative. There's a side one that goes horizontal, and these are programmable. So like if I push on my scroll wheel, it uses the pre-programmed thing I had that carried over from my last computer. Dude, I got a few things to try. Anyways, let's, I don't know, dude, talk about some other gaming stuff. Oh, wrapped up Cyborg. I'm starting out the show backwards. Cyborg, we wrapped up Thursday. I had a great time. I was, Lorenz, I think Lorenz made it, right? Lorenz was the beginning. Wayne, you never created a new character, did you? Phil, Kev, they had a rough time. I know I only had one character through the whole thing because, well, you know, player skill, I imagine. Tech support the RPG. Thanks, Jim. It was fun. I liked the premise. Harrigan was the game master. If you don't know what Cyborg is, it's a cyberpunk board game. So if you're Merc Borg, Pirate Borg, Cyborg, Duck Borg, it's a good game. It's very light, and it is very thematic. Like, you got to lean heavily into the themes. And there's one rule that cannot be broken, and that is all corporations and law are evil. You may work for them, you may do things for them, but they are inherently evil. That's never going to change, period, end of discussion. That's like rule 0 for the game, which is fantastic, and it's framed up in a way that's super awesome. Yeah, Lorenz did make it through. Yeah, me and Wayne's guy made it all the way through. So it was essentially, I don't know if you're going to run it again here again, but it's essentially we had to get this chip that was in a guy. And we did. Session like 0.5. Hey. So then we had to deliver it to our patron, Millie. So it's kind of like, it reminds me of The Gauntlet, kind of. I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched that movie. Yeah, Phil and Kevin lost the character each game except every session. And it was like 6 sessions, I think, total. So that was fun. So it reminds me of The Gauntlet, Dirty Harry, right? It's like him trying to get through town and everybody's trying to kill him. I think, if I remember that movie correctly. I haven't seen it in a long time, but that was the premise. And of course, Millie would kind of change locations, so we'd have to shift, and there's a couple different paths you could take. So it was fun. It was fun. It was funny. It's 6 sessions, probably 3 hours each, guys, and the whole thing may have been like an hour, like in game, right? You think, Harrigan? Channeled the Warriors, the Gauntlet. Yeah, there's the sources of inspiration straight from the game master's mouth. Hey, Eileen, good to see you. So it was fun. I played a ex-government guy. Like the classes are interesting in what they're named, but so it is. If you're not familiar with board games, and specifically Cyborg, it's very much a DC 12 system, and then you have your stats modifier, and it's always a stat check versus DC 12, and then of course if it's harder, you add or decrease it, harder or easier, +2, -2, D20 roll, and then some gear will help for sure. But yeah, it's very simple and straightforward. More than an hour. It was basically a long night. Okay. Oh, we did rest in the tunnel. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. It was one movie. One movie's length. What's up, Matty Q? Good to see you, man. Good morning, fellow dudes, fellow kids. So if you guys haven't hit the like button, since everybody's probably like the highlight before everybody bails, do me a favor, hit the like button, please. Subscribe, get notified. You know the deal. So Cyborg was really fun. I enjoyed myself. Camo suits, weird, strange craziness, toxic lake, societal, what is it? Just the breakdown of society and certain elements of the city of Psy, social stratas, like that's the good neighborhood. You don't go over there. That's, here's the mall where all the nice things are. And then you go to back there and it's like, a bazaar that you might see in some big city where people are peddling their wares right out on the street. So it was fun. It's a good time. Fun. What else? Those two. And then Star Trek. So we got Star Trek this Tuesday coming up. Working through some of the rules on that one. So that's fun. But different for sure. Gabe's running that one. He's in the chat. Harrigan's playing. And so is Saltheart. I don't know where Saltheart must be preoccupied this morning. So that's fun. We may be picking up where we initially started. We were starting to do some vignettes. Although, maybe the next vignette we do is Starship Combat, which will be interesting. So, Wayne likes the rest rules, yeah. And glitch, you have glitches. So you have so many glitches that you can and those glitches you can use, like they're little chits that you can reuse to re-roll or do certain things. Mostly re-rolls. Like, oh man, I gotta re-roll that thing. So yeah, there you go for gaming on my end. And for BSRCon, I want to submit an event. I don't know what I'm going to submit yet. I'm doing a Foundry thing with Rob. Accidental Rob. We'll talk about Foundry. If anybody's interested, Foundry curious. Sundance Kid, good morning. We didn't even do the question of the day. Let's see. My brain this is Sean's brain. Crack. This is Sean's brain right now. Any questions? Question. We haven't done the question of the day, so you're right on time, and we're way far into this because I went off on a tangent. How do you fix the Mac? Yeah, that is the question. All right, question of the day is: you are a game master that uses a Macintosh computer, and your scroll wheel doesn't scroll the right way. How do you fix it? And you can't use the system preferences natural scroll checkbox. That's the question of the day. I don't understand how this is like related to RPGs. I said it's a game master that's running a Mac. All right. Let's do this. Playing. No running. Playing. One game, 2 games, maybe. I know you guys are overachievers. You're going to give me 3 or 4. One game that you hope to play in 2024. Not run, play. And maybe you don't plan on playing. But Sean, game mastering is playing. Not in this context. Get it on Mac, Eileen. That suggestion has been provided, so that's not going to work. 90% of the answers are get a Mac. I know, right? Big help. So to pretend, never mind. So if you're gonna play, you're gonna play. You want to play. You're gonna try to play. You would like to play. Whatever it is, you haven't played it before. That's the caveat. It's a game you want to play, but you haven't played before. RPG, tabletop, that you want to play in 2024. Chris S. says Twilight 2000. Jim says the Swords and Wizardry lunch hour game. You've played Swords and Wizardry, though, haven't you, Jim? Lou? What the hell? I haven't knew. How are you doing? Drinking the Knave 2E Kool-Aid. There you go. Knave 2E. Chris S. still says Twilight 2000. Still my answer. Stand by it. Same answer as this year. Dune. You got to make it happen, man. You can't go 2 years and not play Dune, Gabe. You just can't. So we got to run. Somebody's got to run Dune for Gabe. Devil's Dandy Dogs, if I had to choose one. I don't think I've heard of that one yet. Sundance Kid 007 says Numenera. Jeff says OSE. All right, Jeff. Jeff, I could run a one-shot. Like, if Joe's kind of tied up, man, and we can get everybody else at the table, I don't have a problem running a one-shot or even 2 sessions if we get, like, back-to-back. Mcatron, Numenera. Numenera, 2 votes for Numenera. Brian West, Mutual Crawl Classics. It sounds like an insurance company. Mutant Crawl Classics. I'd love to play it in a Numenera game as well. Okay, I thought you were going to play Mutant Crawl Classics in Numenera, or the Ninth World, if you will. Tad says Blade Runner. Harrigan, Knights Black Agents. Could do that. Yeah, definitely do that. I could put that on the short list for sure. Fist. Shambot says Fist. Eileen says it's a new no prep game from MCG. Oh, Murgard. I would have guessed that, maybe. Jeff thumbing up. I know I can get Jeff to play another game. I got him a Christmas gift. We'll see. Orcus Dorcas RPG Shenanigans Dolmenwood. Got all your PDFs? Have you piled through them? Orcus Dorcas. Wayne Peacock Dying Earth. Dying Earth. DCC Dying Earth. Or wasn't there a Dying Earth? Didn't I post that in the Discord? There was a game called Dying Earth, right? Back in the 80s, 90s? I'm guessing you're talking about DCC. Ryan West, playing Numenera and MCC. You talked me into it. Oh, sorry. I'm an influencer. Woo! I influence you to play Numenera using MCC. Okay. Jim's serious answer, I don't have my eyes on anything in particular, so whatever a BSer decides to run when I'm available to play, which is very nice of Jim, because Jim is very much old school. He's a THAC-O guy that doesn't mind playing non-THAC-O games. And to that I say, good on you, Jim. Eileen says I could make some Numenera happen. Victor Wyatt, Dragonbane, Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. Jim said there was a non-DCC Dying Earth in the 2000s. Yeah, there was. Joe Swick says any bird game. Joe hasn't got a taste any of the board games? Oh, you got to fix that, Joe. Harrigan says, just read The Dying Earth. I'll play, Wayne, or maybe even run. Hey-o. There you go. The Dying Earth role-playing game by Robin Lawns, 2001. I posted that in the Discord because it was on sale at drive-through. But I'm going to go on a limb and say I think Wayne's talking about the DCC version. But just know that Robin Laws, and he's no slouch, right? For those that don't know Robin D. Laws, he's been in game development for years. He's on a podcast where they talk about stuff. 90% stuff, 10% RPGs. Love you, Ken. Love you, Robin. Game that you haven't played before that you're gonna play in 2024. I'm gonna say Coriolis. And you know why I could say that? I'm signed up for the game at BSRCon. That's in January, so booyah, Grandpa. I'm a little bummed, though, because if Coriolis is coming out with the second edition, I might be kind of excited about getting into it. But it's like then it's because now like end of cycle could be coming around. It's kind of like, oh, 5th edition, they're moving to another game. So I guess I'm just going to like wait or not. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's what I'm doing. Coriolis. You heard it here, folks. Heard it first here, folks. That's what I'm gonna do. Anybody else? Did we miss anybody? Laramie, what'd you say, Laramie? Andy, the guy in Jeff's group, our group, Alien, who says, okay, that's a good one. Yeah, you got to get that to the table in 2024. Matty Q's working on his own game. Nice. Laramie says he only gets to play during game hole. Wah, wah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But they're going to do, if they do a second edition, I'll get in on that for sure. Yeah, it's a great setting for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. What else? Let's get into something. Let's talk about some stuff. Could we do a crowdfunding campaign? I know you don't hear the swoosh. I don't know what's going on. The ship is barely together at this point. MCDM, 2.6 million. I think when I left off on this thing, it was at like 1.9 or it might have been just over 2. And since overnight, it's gotten 600,000 more people or dollars. This is crazy. Like in less than 8 hours, it was at $1 million. 13. Oh, we're on the verge of 14,000 backers. And on Blue Sky, Phil probably saw it. Oh, you did hear the swoosh. That's good, Victor. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. A Walking Dead for Matty Q. Good deal. So the 400 pages, Jim doesn't have time to read. So 400 pages, MCDM, Matt Colville's company. It is not going to be called the MCDM RPG. It is very much high fantasy, heroic fantasy. Like I'll give Matt and James Tricasso and the crew over at MCDM some credit here, where credit is due. First of all, they do some pretty obnoxiously high Kickstarter funding goals, and they hit them. Like this thing was set at 800,000. Like that, they got that in like no time. Like pay no mind. This is high action. Like they want high action. Sounds like they're trying to cut down and do it very speedily as far as like combat goes. And they want people flying through doors and walls and into other people and all this stuff. Like, it's not a hex crawl, let's see what happens. Get out your 10-foot pole. Like, and the thing is, they're very transparent about it. this is the type of game we're going to make. If you like this type of game, then great. It's going to be right up your alley. If you don't, it's okay. There's other games out there. Like, it's not, we're going to put out an RPG and we hope you all love it and it's going to be kind of cool. And then we have to interpret it like you could do this with it or that with it. Like, it's this box, like action movies to the nth degree. For absolutely movie level action. Yes, exactly. Jim said it. Sounds great for people who are looking at that. Now, I will say this. From some of us game masters, I think, because like, you know, I think some of us are like, you know what, I appreciate 5th edition for what it is, but I'm no longer playing it, or I'm playing it or running it for my home group because they just prefer it and we know it, which is fine. And some folks in the chat love 5e all the way. Like, I love 5e. It's a great D&D. It's the best iteration of D&D that's ever been created. I'm going to probably play it till the end of time. Great. Awesome. Good. Fantastic. For some of us that, like for me personally, I mean, would I never play 5th edition again? No, of course not. Of course I would, like if it came up. But having said that, where am I going with this? So I don't talk a lot about 5th edition because I think it gets plenty of publicity. Like, I don't think it needs more marketing. It's got a big marketing budget. I like rooting for the little guy, much like many people. So in my humble opinion, 5th edition's got it taken care of. Like, they're good to go. Wizards and Hasbro, and despite all their fumblings, they'll still do okay. So having said that, I don't talk a lot about them. And so MCDM, Tales of the Valiant, some of those are, I should say Tales of the Valiant, and some of those, like Pathfinder, I would consider a pretty decent offshoot of the D&D core kind of. I mean, Pathfinder came from 3.5, and there was a 2nd edition. Yes, I know they've changed things, but the reason I point those out is I don't sit here and talk about those guys in depth because there's plenty of other channels that know it better than I do. And they're fans and they're enthusiastic, and they could be, you know, they can scrutinize it because they develop for it and design for it and, you know, do live streams with it and all this stuff. But one reason I do bring them up is because I think there are elements of the industry like that we can learn from with Hasbro and WotC and Cobalt Press, and even some of the design choices that will probably be coming out of MCDM would be interesting to know. Like, I'll give you an example. I went on Blue Sky, and was like, hey, you know, no initiative. Well, there is an initiative, I think. However, it's determined. I don't think they've mentioned how it's determined, but there's no roll to hit in MCDM. No to hit roll. You hit. Like, it sounds like it's very much, you'd roll 2d6. That's the damage you do, plus or minus any modifiers that you might have, or boons or tweaks, things of that nature. And so as you could watch the video, I'll put the link in here. I'll put the link in the doobly-doo, Mr. Coville. If you're even remotely like, you might not be interested in the game. It's big. It's big in size, right? A lot of big page count. People sometimes are like, I'm overwhelmed by page count. Anything over a certain amount of pages. And frankly, I don't know why, like, Americans seem like bigger is always better, which I don't think is always the case, right? Like, so whenever a book is like, it's going to be 400 pages, it's 800 pages of RPG goodness, it's, you know, it's relative. What's up, Flint? So having said that, I think they're going to make some very interesting design choices. Matt was always a big 4th edition fan, but he's played many of them. He's worked in the industry. He's obviously a big YouTuber, social influencer. He's had 3 hugely successful Kickstarter crowdfunding campaigns. Well, let me rephrase that. Successful depends on how you determine success, but they've all been funded. They've all been over $1 million. And like literally everyone. He hasn't had one that's like, put one out, $5,000 goal, I made $6,000, woo! And then I'm going to put out another one. And oh, by the way, that hit 500,000 because now people know me and it was like this. Like he, out of the gates, crushed. Like, now, have there been like delays? Yes. Have there been printing issues? Yes. So it's not like flawless crowdfunding campaigns, but nonetheless, the guy's doing it. I think he might have quit his day job. Now he's doing this all day, all full time. I think he's got a handful of full timers working for him. So he's making it happen. And some people. So, anyways, my point is, no to hit. No. Anyone else not excited about that mechanic? Well, that's right. I think it is. As I was thinking about that, so somebody on Blue Sky was like, "What? No to hit? Huh?" Like that must be something completely new, and it's not, right? McDowell, I think, does it in Into the Odd and some other probably systems. So, having said that, nobody would know another system does that. So somebody's going to say, "Oh, Matt Colville came up with that ingenious idea," and so I think it's just, and we don't have to go like, "That's not true. It was originally coined and served by this person over here. They did it first." I don't think we have to get into that, but we do have to kind of understand like the dynamics of how other games may or may not influence. And frankly, it may not even be influenced from another game. They just may be thinking of this, but it isn't like it's never been done. And many OSR games use this described hit system, as Harrigan points out, but a lot of people won't know that because there are 14,000 backers on this thing, and a lot of them may not be honed in to some of those OSR games. Some will. So as I was thinking about this no to hit, even Tim Jensen's like, "I implemented that in my second edition game back in the 80s. And my players loved it until the monsters got to go," right? Because they're only playing D&D. Maybe Sundance. We don't want to assume, but there is also I don't think they're trying to compete with D&D 5th edition. Now, I think there's always, gamers were super nice, I think. Most of us, right? I think we all love the hobby. And many of us appreciate the differences in games for what they are. Some people get snooty and gatekeepy and all that other garbage, and you're doing it, you're playing it wrong, and all this other stuff. You're D&Ding wrong, whatever. But I think for the most part, as an overall space, and you're going to get that in any hobby, by the way. I'll give you an example. Madison, Wisconsin, where I live, has 325,000 people population in and around the area, give or take. We had 6 game stores. 6 game stores. So if I were in business and I would be like, that game store across town, if I could get more people from that game store to come into mine, I would make more money. Okay. So that's competition, man. I don't want to get into free market and capitalism, but I got to kind of shine some light on it. So when they say, "Well, I don't think this is competing with 5th edition," or "this game really doesn't compete with 5th edition," they may not be going head to head. Like, "Oh, Into the Odd and McDowell's game really isn't competing with 5th edition," because it's a different game. It's a different style, different tone, different mechanics. Like the people that probably play Into the Odd may not play D&D 5e and vice versa. And that's okay. And that is okay. Absolutely. But come on. If you've got a product in the same space, catering to the same customer base, you're competing. It's just, we have to call it out like it is. Okay. Having said that, if you're going to sit down and you're going to plunk down, in this case, I think it's $70. It's another thing people have commented on, $70. Oh God, so expensive. $24 for the PDF. Oh my God. If I have a choice, I have $80. I can only spend it on one thing or the other. Now, some of us have the luxury and disposable income to get both. And great. But then it also comes down to time. So they compete for your time. So even though we buy these books, getting them to the table is a whole other thing. And if you get them to the table, that also creates another dynamic. Because if you get it to the table and your players love it, the players may buy the books. And then your campaign goes into a particular direction. You buy more product and and you support the company and it like flourishes. Great. But if you buy one book and you never get it to the table, you might buy more books, but then your players may not because you don't have any players because you're not running it. See where I'm going? So having said that, there are 14,000 backers on this thing at $2.6 million. I looked up at his blue. Let me see if I can find it. My Blue Sky, shall I? Probably be my last tweet, actually. Matt is just bringing it to a larger crowd, Shambot says. The best thing, Orcus Dorcas says, the best thing about this campaign was how clear it was that this wasn't for me, and yet I have nothing disparaging to say about those who want this. And I think that's the way it should be for many things in the RPG hobby. Harrigan says, I hope they make $5 million off this. Rising tide, my friends. Absolutely. Shenanigans, same. When they publish a world setting, I might grab it. Or Ryan's talking to Orcus Dorcas. Absolute transparency on what it is and what they are going to do with it. Harrigan says, I also hope they understand how long it will take them to write and finish 800 pages of content when they are just getting started. Yeah, this is no joke. This is a beast. Wayne says, even to a greater extent than Shadow Dark, these MCDM are very successful 5e producers that bring over a lot of gamers without a lot of experience with non-5e games. Fair. Lou says they also had this in the works well before, but announced aspects of it during the OGL debacle. Yes, I'm not saying it was intentional or not, but they are not stupid. No. But Flint says, I'm more prone to support PDF Kickstarters resources these days because it takes 1 to 2 years to get physical books. I think Matt, in one of his videos, actually encourages people to get the PDF. I don't think there's a problem with them knowing how long it will take to hit 800 pages. Matt and James have done a lot of writing work in the gaming sphere. Matt's worked for WotC in 3.5 years. Oh, God, I get this stupid heart that's like, I cannot read beyond. It's driving me nuts. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, all good stuff. So here we go. You could probably see this. Here we go. So here it is. Somebody said, Phil, the dice mechanic on Blue Sky, said, hey, well, that's what a strong social media following would do for you, I guess. Yeah, no kidding, right? And I said, indeed. So as of about yesterday, Matt has 439,000 subscribers on YouTube. He has over 85,000 on Twitch. He's had 27,000 backers on Flea Mortals, and that was a $2 million Kickstarter. He had 19,000 backers for Kingdoms and Warfare and hit 1.3 million. He had 29,000 backers for Strongholds and Followers and had 2.1 million. At the time that I posted that, he was at 11,700 backers and at 2 million. So obviously they're kicking in more per backer because it's probably like the price point and how it's broken down. That's not to take away from what's happening, like lower amount of backers paying more, therefore, less is more. But that's not to discredit Matt and what he's trying to do, because what I wanted to put into context is his best Kickstarter had 29,000 backers at 2.1 million. If he goes, if he hits, he's going to hit. Like right now he's at 14. I was kind of predicting he'd hit 35,000 backers. And if the average backing price remains the same, this is a $6 million Kickstarter or backer kit, crowdfunding campaign, if you will. We got to get out of the Kickstarter. I got to stop saying Kickstarter because it's not Kickstarter. Crowdfunding campaign being held on backer kit. His first one, I believe, on backer kit. And right now on backer kit, MCDM Productions has 51,000 followers. Like, we could start crunching some numbers. Some of us could, like, count the beans and get probably pretty damn close to what this thing's going to hit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is day one. Like, literally, I think he launches 24 hours ago. Did they launch it at 2 a.m.? It says 2 a.m. Central Time. January 5th is when it will end, 2024. So I don't know if they launched it at 2 a.m., but when I woke up, it was like 9, 10 in the morning, and it was already like blown out of the water, like 1,800,000. It's crazy. Kill the heart for sure. Anyways, now somebody's also mentioned that, $24 seems steep. And somebody, I think it was even Matt or James Intricasso from MCDM, that said, hey, man, we pay our writers like top dollar. Some may say that they pay the best in the industry. I don't know if I don't have anything to base that on. There's my disclosure and disclaimer, fine print at the bottom. But if we say creatives should get paid a living wage, and we say they should get paid for their work, and should paid for and not, dog crap and basement dollar, then you got to say, I'm going to pay for the $24 PDF. Got to pony up. Come on now. We can't complain about the high price of a PDF and still talk about paying people really well or not paying people really well, right? We gotta do it. And frankly, I'm kind of with Harrigan. It's probably not my game that I'll probably kick in, but if this thing makes $5-6 million, and there's a couple of reasons. One, I'm interested to hear what the mechanics are like. Two, MCDM has exploded, in my opinion, onto the gaming scene. It really has. He's been a long-time YouTuber. He has worked in video games. He has worked in tabletop RPGs. But MCDM as a whole, like this is his fourth Kickstarter. It's already over 1 million. All of them have been. And he's paid his dues, obviously, in another tangential kind of space, I guess, for RPGs. But it's exciting to see this stuff happen and where it will go. And it's not MCDM RPG for those that are not familiar with this. It's not going to be called that. It's just they had to have something. It's kind of a working title. Who knows what it's going to end up being. At first, I'm like, they're going to call it the MCDM RPG? What? No, not yet. They haven't finalized the name. But yeah, it's. I think there's going to be some inherent power, some synergies between classes. Like, it's all going to be action. And I've heard, also want it to be very, very easy to design and develop for it. So they're like, hey, man, we're not putting this out, with a big, huge fence around it. Like, I think they're talking about using the Shadow Dark license, if I'm not mistaken, because they want to encourage people to design and develop for it. I don't know what that license looks like. I don't know if it's just like, well, it's the next best thing to Creative Commons or something equivalent. But if if they're going to be like, look, this may not be the game for you, but we're really going to put out a lot of things that you guys are just going to appreciate from us being a game company and our product, like paying their people well, making all their stuff as usable as possible to kind of license and develop for and design for and make money off of yourself, which I think is fantastic, right? It's got a long roadmap. There's even mention of a VTT. Now I got some buzz too, and they would only make the VTT just for this game. Now people were like, why are they doing that? Isn't it oversaturated? Is that even smart and wise? You know, if they make all the money in the world, they could spend it any way they want as far as I'm concerned. 400-page rule books, 2 of them. Here's some of the sample layout. It will be interesting. Fury, Elementalist, Shadow. So certain classes, like they are really getting away from some of the like typical stuff. Like I don't see MCDM coming out with stuff that's like fighter, wizard, rogue. Although there is a wizard right here, so I guess I misspoke. But wizard, cloak and dagger, shining armor, whirlwind. This is equipment, right? What is this? Yeah, these are the certain things that they're having. Whirlwind, shining armor, cloak and dagger, wizard. I thought they had another one that was in there. Heroes, monsters book. What they have in testing. Schedule. Talking about PDFs getting out by June of 2025. It's a long time. It's a long time. This is not a small endeavor for them. Obviously, there it is. We intend to publish this game under an open license, probably something like Shadow Dark license, because we want you and anyone who wants to make, share, publish their own work using these rules and set in this world. We hope by the time the PDF exists, folks will not only have been playing this game for months, they'll be making, sharing, selling their own original works using this material. Here's the pledge levels. Heroes hardcover, $70. So if you're getting both, you're looking at $140. The main rule book, right? That's why some of these, both is $135. My bad. $135 for both. Stretch goals. Yeah, it's shipping and logistic risks. Will be interesting. And Max hits it home there. So yeah, it's going to be one to watch. And they're going to put out updates. I don't know if open playtest is what they're using, but I know they're going to take feedback. What did I miss here? Oh, boy. Do. Right click, inspect, delete element. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I'm in OBS. I have my chat in OBS, Jim, so that might be a problem. Wayne says, so I too think that they will likely be late, but I think they have cleared their schedule to work on this game. Unlike other projects, they were late. So maybe. Other projects that were late, yeah. As successful as those Kickstarters were, I'm really curious to know how many people are actually using Strongholds and Followers and Kingdoms and Warfare in their 5e game. I don't know. It's a good question. Who knows? Victor says, I'd have to look deeper to be sure, but I think they understand the scale of 800 pages. They are planning 18 months for this one. I think they can hit that as long as there are no weird issues. Almost 2,000 people have backed at $500 deluxe level. Who says, want to be a fly in the Wizbro boardroom? And that's the thing with this thing, right? Like, you take this Kickstarter and the stuff that Critical Role does, Shadow Dark was no slouch. Dolmenwood was not a small Kickstarter. Like who was, there was a good chat about Wizards of the Coast and saying like, could they have done this? Could they have said, here's D&D. And oh, by the way, here's some other, they do optional rules. They're in supplements, but it's like, are they like, man, I got to imagine they don't even care. I bet you they don't even care they're like, oh, that's nice. So when are we getting our VTT done? When are we launching the books? Oh, by the way, it's the 50th anniversary. Oh, it's only 2020. It's 2024. Okay. Well, let us know when it's 2025. Like, I bet you there's execs that could give two shits that MCDM's doing as well as they have. As a matter of fact, there might be some that actually go, great. That's awesome. Good for him. Yay. I don't know. They launched at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Victor. $24 for a 400-page PDF is not a lot. I'd agree. Here's the thing. You could take your $24 PDF and probably spend another $50 to get it printed. The printer is in America. Is it really? I did not know that. There you go. Another thing, right? I guess. If you look into and hear what they're saying and check out their history, this is an easy fulfillment for them. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I was in on both Kingdoms and Warfare and Strongholds and Followers. I don't remember if the first, like Kingdoms and Warfare came last. Yeah. Strongholds and Followers. I don't know how late it was. I think it was late. I don't know how late it was. I probably just like, oh, it showed up finally. Okay, good. Kingdoms and Warfare, kind of a fiasco because of the printing issue. And they had them all printed in like 2 blank pages. And then they were like, here are 2 options. We can get stickers printed and then we'll send you the book and the sticker and you can put it in there. The other option was you can get the book and the sticker and we'll put the sticker in there and then send it to you. Or you can just wait and we will reprint it in its entirety to make sure you have a great book. But that's going to delay it another 6 months. I opted for the latter. Like, I wanted a book like the right way. You know, that's the route I went. As a matter of fact, I have it over there. So it may be easy for them to hit some of these goals, but I don't know. Oh, man. The only reason my eyebrow is up is that I think they would want more of the core product developed before Kickstarter. Best practice is shown to get as much in the can as you can before going live. Like the old comparison to video games, Luke K says, or going to the movies, got to evaluate your own situation. If you can get X hours of enjoyment out of it, $24 is a steal for sure. It is. $24 for an RPG PDF. And if you want to print it on your own, go knock yourself out. But come on, like a video game's like $70 and you're going to get a limited amount of time. Now, somebody would argue like it's a 40-hour playthrough. Oh, but if you choose another character path or character and you play the dark side or you play this other thing and then you get an extra 20 hours because the options change, fine, but it's still limited. RPGs are unlimited. Go MCDM. Go, Matt, go. The only thing I'm unsure of is the VTT thing they're developing. Sundance says, yeah. Chris says they set a license similar to Shadow Dark on. Yeah. Do they even have any software engineering product development experience? Well, that's another thing too. So, Paizo did it. So when they launched the Pathfinder video game initiative, I was like, what? But through Goblin Works. So it wasn't even through Paizo. Paizo probably had a stake in Goblin Works. I think Goblin Works was done by Ryan Dancy. And at that time, I was like, dude, that's going to be expensive. And they had a Kickstarter for it, and it funded, and it was only to like get it off the ground. It wasn't, I don't even know if it was for a completed project. Because I was like, if you don't have a Kickstarter that's going to pay an engineer, like engineers, man, I'll tell you how much they make. I'll tell you. A 3-year engineer, software developer, 3 years of experience in the hottest tech market outside of Silicon Valley is probably going to make out of the gates $80K at least. 4-year degree, $80K. Now, I'm sorry, 3 years, that's low. I meant right out of school. 3 years, they're probably making 110 to 120. Now, if you get outside the second hottest IT market in the US, mileage may vary. But I can tell you, like, seniors, 7-10 years plus, that know what they're doing. Yeah, you're going to pay them probably at least 140, as high as 200. It's not cheap endeavor. That's a year base. So unless they, like Matt, that's his jam. He's worked in video games. So he could probably either hire a crew, give them sweat equity. There's different ways to incentivize people. He could have a shop do it, and he could know the shop. He knows how to vet the shop. So he could have a shop do it. That's how I think most of these guys, even people that have the Foundry VTT modules do it. Free League's not doing it. They're outsourcing to that one place that teamed up with Pinnacle. Their name escapes me. They do all the coding for Foundry modules. So yeah, VTT, oof, and the ROI, man, that's the thing. Ryan West, D&D Beyond makes money, right? That's not even a VTT yet. Well, yeah. I love the VTT story. Matt wants it, but someone came to them with a prototype, and he gave them one of the classes, and they came back 3 days later with the class implemented. I'm skeptical, but it's interesting, Chris says. Yeah, the VTT the bit does seem a bit odd. It also feels to me like a wink at Hasbro, maybe. Jim says that's not a trivia thing to design and develop, even if it's for one game. Yeah, that's a oof. Orcus says, my thoughts were, regardless of the progress of the game, they may have wanted eyes on the crowdfunding before 2024 and the 50th anniversary of D&D next year and all the noise that will come with it. They have a VTT prototype? Ooh, man. I guess you could use the Unreal, right, engine. I don't know. Unity's a mess. What's up, Brandon? Good to see you. I ultimately backed it because his previous products seemed to add some new stuff to the genre. Still very European medieval, but a little different. All right, see you, Eileen. She's probably gone by the time I read this. Brandon Barnes guy. God, blah, blah. Where am I? Damn. They aren't making quarantining a VTT. They said they are putting money into someone making a VTT for them. It's already had mock-ups, but the stretch goal is not a guarantee that a VTT will exist. See. Yeah, they're gonna have a shop do it, which makes sense. They don't need in-house. That's not what they do. Outsource it. Do what you do well. Have other people that do that other thing well do it for you. I don't think Matt is the type of guy to get out over his skis. No, I don't think so either. I'm hoping in the last 3 Kickstarters, he's definitely learned some stuff for sure. I think it probably even goes into some printing things in the crowdsourcing campaign. They have paid in-house playtesters, by the way. Is that true, Chris? Seriously? That's pretty nuts. I'm skeptical on playtesters. I mean, let me frame this up before people like start throwing tomatoes. I'm skeptical about open playtests. And the only reason is because the most vocal get heard. And I think there is a silent majority with a lot of games. Case in point, Dragonbane. I haven't played the game. I haven't looked at it. But my understanding, and some of you know this, is that they had a limited list of skills. And then some people were like, what? That's too small. And then they blew it up. And now it's become this weird, like, do you use this skill or do you use that skill? Right? Because there's a little overlap that could... using that could be applied to that, I guess. It's like the old alert, notice kind of thing. Perception. Put all 3 of those skills. Which one do you use? So I think like sometimes it's like, have a control group, I guess, maybe. Maybe that's where the hired playtesters come into play. Depending, you don't want everybody from the same cloth. And maybe that's what they're doing. I hope more games adopt the bought a physical copy, get the PDF for no cost. How about buy the PDF, get the print at no cost? And you're buying a PDF for $60. Tomato. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. There's some video game influences. I don't know, man. I mean, if they're paying playtesters and they're paying the highest per word count for people, freelancers and stuff, and maybe they're paying top artists or artists top dollar as well. Man, he's freaking back this company because they're doing good shit. Like, I like Matt Colville, MCDM's company. Woo! Their product, I don't know. My audio level's fluctuating. Fantastic. Is it me? Or is it just Hoos? So, by the way, Roll for Combat owner said great things about the D&D VTT. Got to mess with it at PAX U. Interesting. Who says both are on my pile? He's probably talking about strongholds and followers and Kingdom and Warfare. Well, and they're even calling, I think, like the game master of this game. They refer to it as the director. Now that could change. Like all this stuff that they're talking about could change. Like they're still kind of like flying the ship as they're building it. Kind of. Maybe not. They did say a lot of stuff could change. They could like come out, this is what we're going to do, and then, we're going to switch this and change it. I don't like the ducks in Dragonbane. No. You can play Dragonbane without ducks. They're mallards. He wants to pay. Yeah. He's always been a very big, strong advocate of paying people what they deserve, like market. So for that, good. And if anything comes out of this, I mean, I don't buy a lot of Monty Cook game stuff. I have had Cypher. Realized I was never going to get to the table. I have not bought Numenera. I'm trying to think. I haven't bought anything from Monty Cook Games for a while. It's just not my jam, and that's okay, right? But I'll tell you what, if I took MCDM and Monty Cook Games, and I know like Matt pays top notch, like how much does that go into your purchasing decision? I think it's going to be just the game, right? I like this game. It's super awesome. I don't care about anything else, blah. But I don't know, man. It's a weird world right now. Transparency and all that stuff. Like, if Matt went out there and said, this is what we do. Here's how much money we make. This is what we pay our freelancers per word. This is what we pay our artists. And he says, I know from doing this for 10, 15, 20 years that we are up here. Like, maybe we're not the number one. I don't know. Maybe Shadow Dark and they pay higher. Who knows? Maybe Gavin Norman and Dolman Wood pays more. Who knows? But if he puts it out there and says, here you go, this is it, and everybody else sees it, it's like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Company, what do you pay? Like, where are you in the range? Like, it starts to get that kind of balance going on. It can also quell a lot of haters. MCG pays pretty well too, don't know rates. Take care of their people. That's good. That's good. I don't know if Matt has actually said. I think he has. Matt or James. I think they've actually said, we pay this per word count. Like, it might even be in a document. Like, hey, you want to freelance for us? Here is what we look for. And oh, by the way, this is what we're willing to pay. But you got to be top notch. Like, they can be more choosy. 25 cents per word, and they will pay a bonus if non-word design work needed from a writer. Yeah, transparency for sure. These guys know. Freelancers know. They know. Like, if I was a freelancer, I probably know. Like, I know how much Matt would pay me. I know how much Wizards would pay me. I probably know how much Monty Cook Games would pay me. Because I'm not going to do a freelancing job and not know. So it's out there. They may be under NDA not to say anything about them. Anyways, getting way off topic here, but anyways, what else we got here? Everything's messed up here. It's screwing with my stuff. DCC, Goodman Games. Diamond Book Distributors has signed a worldwide distribution agreement with Goodman Games, a tabletop role-playing game publisher. Diamond Book Distributors will exclusively distribute Goodman Games products to North American and international book markets, while Diamond Comic Distributors will handle exclusive distribution of the comic book specialty market, so DCC in comic book stores. So that's something. I thought they're also filling their own stuff from their own site because they have their own warehouse. So I'm kind of like, oh, okay. DCC RPG has sold more than 100,000 copies. And Goodman Games has released more than 40 DCC adventures. 100,000 copies. Is that a lot? Diamond is the gold standard in book trade distribution, says Joseph Goodman. They're selected a selective in which RPG publishers they represent. We are very pleased to be working with them. Their staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and extremely competent. There you go. I thought that was interesting, I guess. For people like retail, that's probably a bigger deal. For us, I don't know. It might be out more around different places. But I also read something about they have their own warehouse up and running now. DC and Marvel dropped them just recently. Oh, really? Interesting. Diamond is not selective. We do some heavy scrutinizing. We'll take your product. Yes. In the background. Yes. Behind the scenes. Man, my scroll wheel not working is really bothering me. First thing I do, whoop, and it doesn't go anywhere. All right, RPG news. I didn't even post the links in the chat. Somebody's going to be mad at me. Probably Ryan West. My local comics shop has dropped Diamond and therefore a number of products because of Diamond's rates. Oh, that'll be awesome. So there you go. No DCC then, right? I guess that's good and bad. Oh, Diamond is in these markets, but I don't. My company, my FLGS doesn't use Diamond, so I'm sucking wind. Yeah, no DCC for you. No soup for you. The electric state. Boogie woogie woogie. It's electric. Nelson, DCC shipping is crazy expensive. I hope this reduces costs. Nelson, you guys get Diamond up there in Canada? It's a bold move, Cotton. I think you can order it directly from Goodman. You got to feel it. It's electric. Boogie woogie woogie. Electric state. Dudes and dudettes. Ladies and gentlemen. Shadowrun, first edition. Woo! Huh? It's back. Is this OSR? Yes, indeed. If you love Shadowrun, you liked it from the first edition, and every other one has not been your cup of tea, and you wish it would just come back, this one's for you. See you, Jim. Thanks for joining, man. Good to see you. Have a good weekend. Brad says, I'm not change Goodman's shipping. Diamond only deals with retail. You could get your comic shop to order it and not deal with shipping. There you go. Shadowrun first edition's coming back. So this is RPG news from Ian World. There's a lot of little links in here. I don't know if I'll probably be skipping them. Here we go. Let's figure this stuff out. Let me back up here a second. Okay, level up, Ian World stuff. Morris, that's all the Ian World news. Ian feature columns. Horror RPG Candela Obscura. Rob Whelan checks out the weird. Let's see what else. Oh, we'll just go with this. Top RPG news. Paizo and Humble partnered for the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Legacy bundle. So that's Legacy. That's pre, like, whatever they're calling their 2nd edition now. For $25. Try 2nd edition. Jeff, you still there? I want to play Pathfinder 2nd edition. Legacy bundle. Here's the Legacy bundle. Electric slide. Boogie woogie woogie. Oh, man. Gotta get this thing. It's electric. Boogie woogie woogie. You all know you're going to have that in your head for the rest of the day. You're welcome. I don't care if you guys see that because you don't know my... Here. So check this out. Humble bundle. Poof. That's a lot of Pathfinder. Bestiary 3. Core book. Bestiary 2. This is a lot for $25 if you want to do Pathfinder. 2nd edition Legacy bundle. This is prior to them redoing the recent lore bundle thingy. It's a pretty good bundle, Gabe, right? Let's see what else. Talked about Coville Catalyst Games, Shadowrun First Edition, our Talsorian Games announced Shadowscar, a new anime-inspired dimension-hopping RPG by Cody Pondsmith. Mike's Son, I believe. It just takes me to like 3 other... Can we just get to the root of it here? Well, if you're interested in that, I'll just put a link to the... Previously codenamed Project Blue Moon. So, Cody, I think is Mike's son, and he is the co-designer of Cyberpunk Red. Anime is not my jam. Enjoy if it is. Steve Jackson announced their 2024 release. Let me think. Munchkin, and more Munchkin. Just saying, probably, maybe. Here we go. What? Uncle Steve. Oh man, their website's so awesome. I wish the prism at the top would rotate. Am I being catty? I'm throwing shade, aren't I? Well, whatever. Positive force, you freaking raving hypocrite. So Munchkin Shadowrun, ayo. Munchkin Big Box. January, Grew the Game, Munchkin Snakes, Fantasy Trip. February, Tabloids, the Fantasy Trip Bestiary, Munchkin Shadowrun in February. March is Frag, Ogre Miniatures, Carnage 2, STL Kickstarter. April, Munchkin Pony Excess, Munchkin Big Box. May, Car Wars Orange and Purple, Express, and Untitled Assorted one-page RPG set. Untitled assorted. Did I say Untitled? It's assorted one-page RPG set. June, Munchkin The Floor is Larva. Car Wars Expansion Pack 1. Okay, I got a question. Has anybody played Car Wars, like this recent version of Steve Jackson Games' Car Wars, and then compared it to Gaslands? I'm interested. Because I know a lot of people are like, Gaslands, top notch. And I have it. I haven't played it. And I haven't played Car Wars since the original. So I don't even know how to play that if I were to get back to it. GeoCities website. Yeah, baby. July Car Wars Vehicle Guide. Munchkin Age of Sigmar. You guys might want to contact MCDM, just saying. Foes 3 Kickstarter. August, Munchkin Golems. There is like maybe 2 months on this. 3 months maybe on here. There's no Munchkin. There's a few more. Maybe half the year is not Munchkin. September, Hacker Deluxe. October, Munchkin Ghosts. And Car Wars Expansion 3. Expansion Pack 3. And then November, Redacted, and then Squarescape Kickstarter. And then December, the Fantasy Trip Hexagram number 14 Kickstarter. We also have tons of support for GURPS in 2024. We continue to bring the GURPS library to PDF, including Dungeon Fantasy RPG, The Devil's Workshop, GURPS Template Toolkit, Spirits, Metatech, Fantasy Folk, Monster Hunters, Adventure, Loadouts. Geez, the amount of PDFs they could put out for GURPS, right? And then, yeah, so there you go. There you go. I'll put this link in there, so if you're keeping up on Uncle Steve and the gang, it's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Where was I? Here we go. So I think that is RPG news. PAX Unplugged announcements. some D&D stuff. Core rulebooks coming in May. Ooh, D&D core books were coming in May. Vecna, Eve of Ruin, coming in 2024. Descent into the Lost Caverns of Shojakanth. It's the first of several single-session D&D events. Quests from the Infinite Staircase in July. D&D Making of Book. D&D Making of Book coming in June. Some of you might appreciate that. It's like the origins of the D&D book. Yeah, there you go. That's RPG news. What else? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me see. Should we do crowdfunding? We did crowdfunding. Print news. They didn't mention. It's funny. They have. They have electric. The electric state. Oh, here it is. It's under the columns. Charles Dunwoody interviewed Nils about Free League's RPG adaptation of the works of artist Simon Stillenhag, which is the electric. Raised over $200,000, but it still has days on the electric state. I have not gone into it on the electric state. Let's see. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Walking Dead. It's out for everybody. I like it. I'd like to run it. There's like it filled up at BSRCon. Hoos's first game's filled up. He's running a second one. He's like that guy. He's like a GM, like a rock band GM. Yeah, BSRCon, I'm going to put on one show. Tickets go on sale whenever Sean gets his proverbial act together. And then he's like, we got so much demand, we scheduled a second show. Hoos GM Incorporated. If there's enough demand, might even schedule a third show. This is not what I wanted. Why is that not? No print news. Whatever. You know, this is the problem with me. What time is it? 5 minutes till the top of the hour. What do we do? Let's go to the crowdfunding. Let's see. Hold on a second. Print news. See if there's anything in here. Walking Dead. Do. Imperium, what's that? Soulbound? Looking through. Soulbound. Heroes Feast. All right, here we go. I think I got all of them. Blackened Earth is out from QO7. There's Heroes Feast, Flavors of the Multiverse is out. Cookbook. And there's Magical Kitties, Game Master Kit. That's from Atlas Games. And then Traveler Core Rulebook Update 2022. So that's all the print stuff. Thank you, Ian World. I should probably put all those links into doobly-doo. Copyright with used without permission. It's not putting my links in here, man. Oh, scroll. Somebody better find me how to frickin' fix the scroll crap. Damn it. So this... Oh, man. It's not... So I'm putting them into Notion, and Notion's not copying the URL to the source. It's literally pulling in the page from Ian World. So that's the problem I'm having over here. See you, Tad. Thanks for coming by, buddy. All right, let's just do crowdfunding. We'll get you guys on your way. What do you say? What do you say? If you haven't already left. Crowdfunding. Let's start cranking through this stuff. All right. Some of the things you might not know that's going on. Kor Hadar, Gabriel Mayhem's Compendium for 5e. Campaign setting by Irigo Studios. $60. 5e. Still kickstarting. Crowdfunding successfully. 125% of goal. Nice job. Well done. Gary's Appendix. Gary's Appendix, issue number 4 by RPG Ramblings Publishing. It's a zine inspired by AD&D DMG. $4,000 goal, a $1,000 goal at $4,000. Congratulations to them. Check them out. Abyssals. Sworn to the Grave by Onyx Path for Exalted. Underworld, Tabletop RPG Fantasy Adventures. 3 adventures available in print, zine, PDF formats. This is for 5th edition DCC, Survive This, and Forgotten Ballad. And system neutral. It's an adventure. $45. There you go. Journey Through the Dying Lands. Merkborg Fiction Anthology. Ooh, fiction anthology. Oof. Black snot ran down his face as his infected limbs gooed out. Like imagine. It's a tall order, man. Writing fiction for Merc Borg. Prose anthology and adventure. Check that out. That's at $1,000 goal. It hit 3,000 on the verge of 4. 2 days to go. Some of these are going to end short, so you probably can pick them up after they go live, I imagine, or even maybe after the Kickstarter crowdfunding ends. 77 stories in New Edo from Salty Games, system neutral. This book is a collection of plot hooks designed for a neon cyberpunk world. Instead of focusing on dystopia, they're about hope and change. Ugh. I don't want no hope and change in my cyberpunk. It's funded, though. $2,100 at $7K. Little anime-inspired art there. Vincent Baker Entertainment. Note to avoid confusion. This is the other Vincent Baker. This is not Powered by Apocalypse Vincent Baker. It's core rulebook. Death Send, a TTRPG inspired by Death Note. Played via texting. Hey, some new approach. Not new, but interesting approach. Thanks, Brandon. Good to see you, man. Someone is using supernatural powers to kill criminals, and you have chosen to stop them for your own reason. Inspired by Death Note. This is a social deduction TTRPG played via text messages. Funded. Low goal. Adventure chess, D&D and chess combined. A little 5th edition action. That's funded. And that's it for crowdfunding. I didn't put the intros in there, did I? Man, I'm telling you, today's been a rough one. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's 10:01 in the morning, Central Time. You're tuned in to How to RPG, which makes no sense because I don't teach you how to RPG here on this channel. We stream Saturdays, 8 a.m. Central Time. Thanks for everybody that came out. Much appreciated. I do. I want to thank everybody here for supporting me. Ty, now you pipe up. How about quarter shot? Quarter shot? What's quarter shot? Thanks, Shambot. I have a better one. Thanks, Wayne. What's quarter shot? How about quarter shot? What's quarter shot? Is that a crowdfunding? Quarter shot RPG? Quarter shots. You missed it. It ended. There it is. Quarter shots, because every GM should have a backup plan. Zero prep, system neutral side adventures for fantasy tabletop RPG games, 1E, 5E, BX, OSR, virtually any other RPG. Don't know if you can put in a late pledge. There you go. Is that the one you're talking about, Ty? I'll put a link. But anyways, thanks everybody for joining. I much appreciate it. If you haven't gone to BSRCon and you're interested in joining up, please do so. If you're going to run a game, great. I want to make sure we have games people can play. So I hope they're not all full so soon. And if they are, then it's like, hey, there's demand for more games. So, hey, cool. And thank you for everybody who's running games and coming, actually, to BSRCon. It'll be a good time. Yeah. I think I put a link down below. Actually, I'll put a link in the chat just so everybody knows. It's online. $10 gets you the full shebang. And we donate half of all the money that we get to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I will also put out a shout out to the Jerry Stefik Crawl for the Cure that Corey Welch does every year, and he's doing it right now. So if go to our Discord, if you're in our Discord, and it's a fundraiser. So Jerry passed away from cancer some time ago. I think this is I probably just pulled up an older page, but that is happening right now as I speak during this live stream. So Saturday, December 9th, they've got a live stream. They're going from like sun up until late at night today, raising money. Check it out. Some of you might know some of the GMs and players that are in some of those games. I'm not partaking this year. I was in last year's. It's a great cause. Corey does a great job. I think last year they raised $5,000 at GameholeCon 2023. So just this past year. Saturday of December the 9th, which is today, they're going to be on. So hoping to raise some more money. I think last year they raised about $5,000 on their, this is today. So right now, as we speak, CK Chuck Cumbo is running Journey to White Plume Mountain using Castles and Crusades on the Twitch channel. I don't know if I have their Twitch link here. Raffle page, shoot, I don't know where it is. Come on, Corey. What are you doing, dude? It's got to be on here somewhere. I think it's in the event in the Discord. So if you just go to our Discord and event, it's probably running right now. I had it going all day. Just click on and I had the link in there to their Twitch channel. You could, and then if you donate so much, you get into a raffle and they're giving away a bunch of games and prizes and supplements. Edwin Nagy, friend of show, friend of mine, does a lot of work in the hobby, works with Frog God Games, is running at 10:30 Central Time to 2 for D&D 5th edition called The Stone Ado. It's a 2023 holiday module. 2 to 5:30, Judge Brendan LaSalle of X-Crawl Classics and DCC fame is going to be running Dungeon City Limits, X-Crawl Classics. 5:30 to 9 tonight Central Time, Judge Julian Bernick on Minnesota is going to be running The Band from Utopia, a American survival guide game. And then Luau Lu, some of us saw him at GameholeCon. Luau Lu is going to be running a game at 9 tonight till midnight called The Technomancer of Candy Mountain by Dragon Peak Publishing. And that uses Mutant Crawl Classics. And then midnight, Sunday, Central Time to 3 in the morning, Central Time, Neon Lord Brian Shutter is going to run Cyber Vamps from Beyond the Grave using Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. So check them out, support them, and even just, tell people about it. Whatever you can do, that would be greatly appreciated. Tell Corey I sent you over. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby, and move, create, and learn. We'll talk to you next week. See ya.